You did everything right. You stopped buying the things you wanted. You started putting money away every month. $100 here, $200 there. You made sacrifices other people around you weren't making. You skipped the trip. You drove the old car another year. You said no again and again because you were being responsible. And it worked. You opened your banking app this morning, and the number sitting in your savings account is the biggest number you have ever had in your life. $10,000. You feel proud. You feel safe. You feel like you finally figured something out that most people around you haven't. And then, almost by accident, you do the math. 0.5% interest. $10,000. 1 full year of discipline and sacrifice. $50. You made $50. You stare at that number for a long time. I gave up a year of things I wanted. I said no to dinners and vacations and upgrades, and my reward from the bank that has been holding my money is $50. That is not a savings problem. That is not a discipline problem. That is a system problem. And today, right now, we are going to fix it. Part 1, the truth about saving. Here is something nobody says out loud, but the math says it plainly. Saving money alone will almost never make you wealthy. I know that sounds wrong. Everything you were ever taught by your parents, your school, every responsible adult in your life said save your money, be disciplined, build a cushion. And they were right. Saving is important, but saving is not the destination. Saving is just the first stage. Here is the difference that changes everything. Savings protect your money. Investments grow your money. Those are two completely different jobs. And most people spend their entire lives doing the first one, the protective one, without ever doing the second. Let me show you what that costs. $10,000 in a typical savings account at 1% interest. After 1 year, $10,100. After 20 years, $12,200. You waited 20 years. You made $2,200. Now, same $10,000 invested in the stock market, the S&P 500. The 500 largest companies in America has returned approximately 10% annually over the last century. After 1 year, $11,000. After 20 years, $67,000. Same money, same 20 years. Savings, $12,200. Investing, $67,000. That $54,800 gap is not the difference between a lucky person and an unlucky one. It is not the difference between someone who worked harder or earned more. It is the difference between someone who only saved and someone who eventually planted their money somewhere it could grow. The biggest wealth gap in America is not between people who spend and people who save. It is between people who save and people who invest. Part 2, why most people never make the jump. So if the math is this obvious, why doesn't everyone invest? Because math is not the problem. Psychology is. When your money sits in a savings account, you can see it. Every single dollar accounted for, protected, yours. It does not move. It does not fluctuate. It does not drop 5% on a random Tuesday afternoon because of something a politician said overseas. It just sits there, safe, visible, yours. Investing feels completely different. Investing means watching a number go down sometimes. It means opening your app during a bad week and feeling your stomach drop. It means reading a headline about a market crash and fighting every instinct in your body that is screaming, take the money out, take the money out, take the money out. That fear is real. That fear is human. That fear has also cost millions of Americans hundreds of thousands of dollars across their lifetimes because they let it stop them from making the transition. The answer is not to ignore the fear. The answer is to move in stages, not all at once, not everything at once, step by step, with a plan. Part 3, the exact path, step 1. Build a real emergency fund first and protect it like your life depends on it. Before you invest a single dollar, 3 to 6 months of living expenses stays in savings. Cash, liquid, untouched. Not for opportunities, not for a stock that looks good, not for anything except a genuine emergency. Job loss, medical bill, car breakdown, the thing you did not see coming. Here is why this matters more than most people realize. The number one reason people sell their investments at exactly the wrong time, at the bottom of a market crash, locking in massive losses, is not stupidity. It is necessity. They needed the money. Life happened. And because they had no emergency fund, they had no choice but to sell. Your emergency fund is not just protection against life surprises. It is protection against your own worst financial decisions. Build it first. Guard it forever. Never touch it for anything other than a true emergency. Step 2. Separate saving from investing in your mind permanently. Think of 2 buckets. Bucket 1, safety money. This does not move. This does not fluctuate. This is your emergency fund, your near-term savings, your financial bedrock. Its job is not to grow. Its job is to be there. Bucket 2, growth money. This is everything beyond the emergency fund. This money has one job: to grow over time. It will fluctuate. Some months it will be worth less than you put in. That is not failure. That is how the process works. The moment you separate these 2 buckets in your mind, the anxiety about investing drops dramatically. Step 3. Start smaller than you think you need to. Here is a thought that stops more people than any market crash ever has. I don't have enough money to start. You need $50. That is it. Most brokerage accounts, Fidelity, Schwab, Vanguard, allow you to start with $50 or even less. The goal at this stage is not to make money. The goal is to build the habit, to become someone who invests, to remove the psychological barrier between you and the market. Because the habit, the automatic, consistent monthly investment is worth more over a lifetime than any single perfect investment decision you could ever make. Step 4, keep it simple. Index funds. This is where beginners make the most expensive mistake. They hear about investing, they get excited. They jump straight to the complicated stuff. Individual stocks, options, crypto, day trading, the things that sound smart at dinner parties, and most of them lose money. Here is the boring truth that the wealthiest long-term investors in the world have known for decades. Simple beats complicated. An S&P 500 index fund, VOOVTI, FXAIX, gives you a tiny piece of 500 of the largest companies in America in a single purchase. Instead of betting on one company to win, you are betting on American business as a whole to grow over time. It is diversified. It is low cost. It is boring. Not because it is the flashiest strategy, because it works. Step 5. Let time do the work and stop getting in the way. Here is the example that makes people finally feel it. You invest $300 a month, every month, automatically, without watching it, without timing it, without trying to be clever. The market averages 8% per year. After 25 years, you contributed $90,000 of your own money. Your account holds $285,000. Nearly $200,000 of that, money you never earned, money you never worked for, money that came entirely from the mathematical miracle of compounding, was created simply by leaving your original investment alone long enough for it to multiply. The enemy of this process is not the market. The enemy is you. Selling too early, checking too often, reacting to headlines, letting fear interrupt compounding. Stay in, stay consistent, get out of the way. Part 4. The analogy that makes it click. Saving money is like storing seeds in a jar. You are protecting them. You are being careful. Nothing bad is happening to those seeds, but nothing is growing either. Investing is like taking those seeds and planting them in soil. At first, it looks messier than the jar. Some days the weather is bad. Some weeks nothing visible happens. But underneath the surface, invisibly, slowly, relentlessly, something is growing. And eventually, not next week, not next month, but eventually, what you planted becomes something far bigger than what you started with. The jar keeps the seeds safe. The soil makes them worth something. Part 5. The truth. The moment you realize that saving and investing are not the same thing, and not competing things, but two stages of the same journey, everything changes. Your savings protect you today. Your investments build you tomorrow. And the people who figured this out early, not the people with the most money, not the luckiest people, just the people who understood the difference and acted on it. Those are the people who end up with options. Real options. Not just stability, not just survival, freedom. The earlier you make the transition, the more time compounding has to work for you rather than against you. The more of that freedom you get. You already have the discipline. You already proved that by building the savings. Now it is time to put that discipline to work in soil instead of a jar. Step 1, build 3 to 6 months emergency fund. Step 2, separate safety money from growth money. Step 3, start with $50 today. Step 4, buy a simple index fund, VOO, VTI, or FXAIX. Step 5, automate it. Get out of the way, let time work. You already did the hard part. You saved. Now let the money do the rest. If this made something click, subscribe and tell me in the comments. Are you in the saving stage, the investing stage, or are you just now making the transition? I read every single one. The next video is already waiting.